What's up guys, Mark back here with yet another video. And today I am basically using the Fuji X-T2 exactly as I would normally use it for this situation, and I'm basically wanting to see exactly how well it's going to fit into my workflow, right? I have been mulling this whole situation over. Alright, first of all, before I get into that, I'm also recording myself with the Fuji built-in phone app. I'm a little bummed that you can't turn it sideways and do it in landscape mode, but I've kind of noticed that I really don't mind it so bad. And I am also recording it with the kit lens. So we're talking the, what is it, the 18 to 55, I think this? Yes, it's the 18 to 55. I kind of like it. I set it up pretty fast. It was not that big of a change. It almost kind of seems like getting the connection very, very fast. So I want to discuss a couple things because I've got fanboys all over the place, and fanboys really do irk my nervous system. I am right now at this point loving, I mean, not just liking, not just in lust with, loving the Fuji X-T2. First of all, for you Sony fanboys, don't start with me. Don't be a fanboy. You know, use what you like. You know, use what feels good. Before I really dive down and get into all this, I just want to say right off the bat that I am not interested in comparing apples to apples. There are a lot of reasons to like whatever system that you happen to be on the bandwagon with, right? The problem is that a lot of people come to my channel, probably go to other channels. I don't try and keep up with all their drama, but there's probably a lot of people out there that go to other people's channels. What they're looking for is confirmation bias. They just purchased their brand spanking new, you know, Sony A6500, and now they're looking for people to say, yep, best camera ever made. You made a great decision, pal. Way to go. Here's your gold star. No one wants to make a bad decision. No one wants to spend 1,500 bucks on a camera and it suck. You know, I get it. I understand why it happens, but I think that the audiences out there should understand that as well. While I'm doing all these like little micro tests, these little micro comparisons for myself, I'm not doing it for anybody else. I just happen to be sharing my findings. The autofocus was very, very fast with the update. Before the update, not so good. I was like, oh, that's not good. But after I updated, not bad anymore. Again, this is an evaluation copy from B&H, so I want to say thank you to B&H, and if you like this camera, you like this image, and you're thinking about buying it, I have links. So I'm doing all these little micro tests, and I'm giving it a go, and this one happened to come with the 18 to 55 kit lens. This thing is stupid sharp. Like, it's not the sharpest, but for a kit lens, most other camera companies, what they do is they just take a shitty, here's good enough to get along lens, and most people, the vast majority of consumers out there, never upgrade. They don't look for any other focal lengths. If they can't get it with the kit lens, then they just don't get it. But this lens is actually good. Is it the best? No, I mean, it's not the best lens, but it is probably the best kit lens that I have ever used. Probably even better than some primes that I've used. I'm looking at you, 16mm from Sony. I don't know how that got past QA. One of the biggest considerations for me right this second is not necessarily lens selection. Sony's decent in their lens selection, because if all Fuji did was offer really big, fat, huge, full-frame lenses that were basically usable on their APS-C line of cameras, I probably wouldn't even consider it. I mean, I can get big, fat, huge, heavy, full-frame lenses from Sony right now. The thing of it is that I can get high quality APS-C size lenses with full frame in mind. Everyone keeps saying that. They do. Fuji makes their lenses with full frame in mind. I'm not really sure what the hell people are talking about when they say that. You know, these are APS-C lenses made for an APS-C body. Maybe they over-engineered it, thinking that, you know, maybe they'll put maybe a full frame into production someday. I don't know. But what I can say is that these lenses, from everything that I've seen, this right here, the 18 to 55, is the only lens from Fuji that I've actually used. So I have absolutely zero experience with their 16mm, even though I would really like to get cozy with that one. I would also like their 16 to 55, is that what it is? It's the new lens that's coming out. I don't think it's available yet. The 50 to 140, also another great lens for wedding photographers, portrait photographers. Those are great replacements for, you know, like a 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200. I've even kind of been eyeballing checking out their 10 to 24. It's not weather sealed, so for a lot of landscape photographers that seems to be an issue, but it's the quality of the lenses. It is the overall build of the lenses. It is the overall sharpness of the lenses that has me taking a look, like a serious look, at the Fuji X-T2. Well, the Fuji line, period. Like, I already like the APS-C line of cameras. I don't really need full frame. I've never, like, you know, I've had full frames before. I don't see where, you know, the elitism comes from. If I want full frame, I've got film cameras, and they'll blow your 42 megapixel, you know, whatever out of the water any day of the week. So, you know, if I want full frame cameras, I can spend 50 bucks on eBay every single day, all day, and I will have higher resolution and higher quality than all of your digital bullshit. So let's just skip over the full frame. I like the size, weight, and portability of APS-C. So when you're taking a camera out to go work, you've got a photo shoot to do, you've got a wedding to do, you've got anything like that, weight, size, and the bulkiness of your lenses, they matter. Fuji, just based on my experience, nobody else's, based on my experience, even the JPEGs are really good. They already look to me like they've been color graded. I'm sure there's going to be situations out there where you're going to want to edit, but what I'm saying is that it's good enough out of this camera that you don't have to. So if you're a working professional and you deal in high volume output, weddings where you're taking thousands of photographs, where you're maybe like I don't know, a photographer in a mall and you're shooting kids all day long with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, this is a fantastic option. I love the form factor of these. These are light, they're small, they're compact. That's the reason I was drawn to it in the first place. I've done many a photo shoot with these cameras. Some of the work that has been shot on these cameras has been in galleries. My work has been purchased with these cameras. They produce fantastic images. The 24 megapixel sensor is a phenomenal sensor. There is nothing to hate about Sony's cameras at all. But here's another big thing for me. It is the user experience. Having those knobs, wheels, buttons, all those external controls is an absolute joy to work with. Sometimes it's not just about how big or how small or how heavy or how light. Sometimes it's about usability. You know, how are the ergonomics? I think that the Fuji X line is a fantastic compromise between kind of small, you know, and huge. Full frame DSLRs, they're big, they're fat, they're heavy. The X-T2, the X-T1 as well, great compromise. They're DSLR-like. They have lots of external wheels and knobs and command dials and ISO, aperture, shutter speed. Everything is like available on this camera. At the flick of a switch, you don't have to dig through a menu to get your job done. Why stop a shoot just so you can, you know, dig through a menu? Those are usability issues. I'm not saying that these are bad. I'm just saying that this is better from a usability standpoint. And from a usability standpoint, from a user experience standpoint, I am loving this camera. I've even started working up a spreadsheet, which I never do. I'm comparing the prices, what I could get for my Sony gear, and actually pick up a full gambit of Fuji stuffs. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, and I'm not saying that I'm selling all of my Sony gear. This is just, I'm workshopping, I'm weighing out pros and cons. This is something that I think everyone else should be doing. Don't listen to me, don't listen to, you know, dumb dick on the other YouTube channel or whatever. You know, there is no perfect camera. There is no perfect system. There are no perfect solutions. You are an individual, you have very tailored and specific needs. You've got different hand sizes, different weight requirements, different, you know, image requirements. You've got a lot to consider. And for you to just go, oh, well, you know, so-and-so, Mr. What's-His-Dick said that it's the best thing since sliced bread, and you're kind of a dumbass. Like, don't ever do that. You have to rent this gear, not just for a couple of days, but I mean, maybe a week or two, or maybe a month. A month would be even better, and really put a piece of gear through its paces and find out what it can do for you. Does it perform? Does it do what you want it to do, when you want to do it, and how you like to do it? You know, this makes it nice. Like, when I want the Fuji to be a smaller, lighter, more compact mirrorless system, it is. When I need it with lots of juice and lots of performance for 300 bucks, it is. The camera is doing most of the convincing for me. No one's had to convince me that I like this camera. I've just been using it. I've just been experiencing with it. Are there some drawbacks right now? Yeah. There are a few. Like I said, I'm still thinking about keeping the A6300, but that's also the reason why I'm testing the Fuji right now to see if it would work in my day-to-day workflow, making YouTube videos, creating content. When I want to be on camera, is it working for me? But I do plan to do some gimbal tests. I haven't even put it on my gimbal once yet to see, you know, what I will think about the autofocus, you know, if it's going to be as good, if not better than the A6300. I need to see those things, and I need to test those kind of things out. And once I come to a conclusion, I'm sure that I'll let everyone know. But I just want my Sony viewers to know that, like, I don't have a favorite system. I have a toolbox full of tools. I've got a film camera. I've got two small APS-C size cameras that are great, but they're not, like, they don't have that user experience. And the user experience with the Fuji X-T2 is really, it's got me thinking. And I'm really interested to see if it will finally convince me. The autofocus was pretty damn good. Not so good at the first, but so there are some things to still left be considered, and I've still got quite a bit of time left with this camera before I make my final decision. Will I switch? No. I mean, like I said, I'm using film camera. I got my Minolta glass. I've got the Sony gear. I've got cameras. I've got a lot of cameras. I got a lot of lenses. But this is a fun piece of gear. It is a extremely usable camera to hold, to fiddle with, to take pictures with. It brings me a lot of joy to use this camera, and I don't have to pick just one. I can have as many as I want, and I really think that I want this camera in my setup. So there you have it, and there you go, guys. I appreciate everyone watching to the very end, and if you like this kind of content, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, maybe hit the subscribe button, maybe share the video on the internets with your friends, and also if you prefer to you know, support the channel, I've got Patreon, and I've also got photography t-shirt merch right down there. Find the links. As always, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again on the next one. Peace. Don't forget to comment.